Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This evening we are making a pea soup, a bacon and pea soup. Now I know traditionally people speak about a ham and pea soup, but bacon for me. So a bacon and pea soup, and we're making it with cream. So it is really the easiest pea soup recipe you will ever make and the quickest. So I'm going to use 2 onions. They're not very big onions, they're medium onions, and I'm going to peel and chop them. Now before I chop up these onions, I'm going to put the stove on. So I'm going to put it on medium-high heat, and then I'm going to chop my onions. Now what makes this recipe even easier is the onions don't need to be chopped finely because it's going to get blended. So you can just do that. And I'm also going to add 2 big cloves of garlic, and those I'm just going to cut in half. I've peeled them, and then I'm going to put that into the oil. Now there's about 2 tablespoons of oil in the pot. You can use any vegetable oil. And we're going to put the onion and the garlic in there just to brown a little bit. So the onions aren't brown, they've just been in the oil a little bit. But that's enough, because next I'm going to add the bacon to that. What I'm using is diced bacon. This is a 200-gram packet of diced bacon. And I'm just going to add it to the onions. And while the bacon is basically frying, the onions will get browner as well. So I'm just going to take the bacon apart, just so it fries evenly. And I'm going to let that fry for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll continue. Okay, so to be honest, it's not been 5 minutes, it's been about 2.5, because the pot is quite hot. Now I usually make this with 3 cans of fresh garden peas, but something has happened during lockdown. There are only processed peas in the shops, and processed peas don't make a nice soup. It's got a horrible taste. So I bought 750 gram of McCain garden peas, frozen, and I'm going to add that to the mixture. And to that I'm going to add some boiling water, because usually when I do fresh garden peas in cans, there is water in them. So let's just add some water. And I've put just enough water to almost cover the peas, because I'm not sure how much extra water these peas will make, because as I've told you, I've never made it with frozen peas before. So I'm going to leave this alone for about 5 minutes. So the soup has been boiling for about 5 minutes. Let's have a look. Now that's not going to be enough water for the next step. So I'm going to put the stove off, and I'm just going to add some water, so that it looks like that. Okay, and then next we are going to blend it. Now what is nice is that I remember when I started making this soup 20 years ago, when you got to this point you had to wait for it to get cold, because stab blenders back then, or well, the one I had was plastic in the front, and so it wasn't heat resistant, and my jug blender also was plastic, and so it also wasn't heat resistant. But now you get jug blenders that are heat resistant, and I have one, and you get stab blenders that are heat resistant, and I have one of those. So I'm going to use the stab blender. I think it's going to work. If it doesn't work, we'll throw it into the jug, but let's have a look. So this is not going to work because I've put in too much water. I shouldn't have added that extra water. So I'm going to throw it into the jug blender. So I tried to save time by not taking out the jug blender, and I've dirtied both of them. Okay, so I got my jug blender out, and I'm going to ladle my soup into there. Now, I know I said this before, but if your jug blender is not heat resistant, please wait for the soup to cool down. And I'm going to return all the soup to the pot. Now, because I added that extra water and my soup is a bit thin now, I'm going to have to boil it a little bit, but not much. It's not terribly thin. I'm going to turn the heat back on and I'm going to let it boil for a little bit just to get the desired thickness, but I can season it so long. So I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. I'm starting with the pepper. And as I've said when I've made soup before, pepper is a very personal thing. I'm not going to prescribe how much pepper you must put in because some people like the soup very peppery and some people don't. And I'm going to add some salt. If you are using canned peas, just be careful with the salt because they have salt in already. And then I'm going to add some sugar. Now, if I had made it with cans, I wouldn't have added sugar because they already have sugar in. But I'm going to go with 1 to 3 teaspoons of sugar. And I'll have a taste. And then I'm going to add some smoked paprika. If you don't like smoked paprika, you can just use a normal paprika, but it does make a big difference to the taste. Okay, so there's not enough salt in there, I just add a taste. And there's also not enough sugar in there. So 4, 5, 6 teaspoons of sugar. So now usually the soup would be done now, but since I put in too much water, I'm going to boil it for about 5 minutes and then I'll be back. So I've boiled the soup for about 5 minutes and we are going to combine it with a steamed bread. And just like I had issues making my soup today, I had issues making my bread. Remember, on my steamed bread recipe, I said don't let the water reach the bottom of your bread when you are steaming it. Well, this is what happens when it does. So that's the bottom of my steamed bread. I didn't seal it properly. But we're going to see what we have. Okay, so let's dish. And we're just going to add some fresh cream to that. I'm not good at doing this.
It's cold.
Okay, so I bought pouring cream, but I give up. So I'm just going to mix it because that's what I would have done anyway. Okay, let's try again. Okay, I give up. I tried. There's the messy one. And there's the one where we're trying to look fancy. Okay, let me take the messy one away. So we have cream of bacon and pea soup with steamed bread, and we're going to have supper now. Thank you very much for joining me again this evening. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. If you liked the recipe, please like it. And if you like my other recipes, please subscribe to my channel. If you have subscribed, please remember to turn on the notification button. Otherwise, you won't get notified when there are new videos. So I'll see you next week. Have a good evening. Good evening again and welcome back to my channel. My name is still Jeremy. No, it's not again. And we're going to have that. Now relax. I'm calm. Good evening, everybody, and good evening. Stop it. Stop it. You may not laugh. Okay. Now, start my face. Now before I chop up these onions as well, please wait until.
I didn't see anything there.
But I've been talking about the stab blender the whole time.
You said I must look down.
But I've been doing stab blender. Must I start again?
Yes.
Okay, so start there. And once I've said I'm going to blend it, then you come up. Okay, start here, and then you go to my face. So I'm just going to say, okay. What happened? Cramp.
It's cold.
Okay, so I've got my jug blender out. Let's start on my jug blender, it's a quiet one. Okay, so I got my jug blender out. And then I'm going to add some smoked paprika. If you don't like smoked paprika, and then I'm going to add some smoked paprika. So now, I'm not gonna go to my face. So now usually, okay, I give up, but I want some more cream in mine. Oh! Maybe I'll cut that. Okay, and let's see how bad this bread looks. Or let's see how good this bread looks. Let me not be so negative.